Welcome everyone for the next episode of Nerdvana podcast, where all your things nerdy and geeky are at your disposal thanks to us. And I know what you're thinking. Doing this many reviews in that short a time? Have you finally found a lot of free time? No, actually. No, we just got really lucky. Let's just put it at that.
Anyway. Or unlucky.
What? How can we be unlucky when we are reviewing probably another one of the greatest sequels of all time? Ian, tell our viewers what we're going to be talking about.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Sometimes short, sometimes also known as just T2, because that's pretty much...
That's all we're gonna get away with, because we can't play the actual theme.
We can't play the actual theme. I'm actually kind of feeling a little bit more comfortable doing putting actual copyrighted songs onto my channel on videos, because I guess my channel is not big enough for me to get YouTube's authoritarian copyright policy. I mean, I'll just say you can't monetize this video, but you don't get a strike. Like I monetize my videos anyway.
Yeah, same. Please subscribe, please.
Yes, to both of us.
Yeah, we do different content, but we work on this together.
All right, so yes, the movie is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, or T2, which let's call it that. Let's call it that from now for the remainder of the review, Ian.
Okay.
And generally, when you ask pretty much any fan of movies, whether they be action, sci-fi, or just general film lovers, the usual phrase is, "I fucking love it!" Or some variation of that. I mean, I definitely said that. I don't know about you, or you, Ian, or anyone who's listening. So yeah, Ian, what did you think?
I fucking love it.
Okay.
I can't yell. There's children sleeping.
Okay. All right. So.
Review's over. We love it.
We love it. But why do we love it? Is it because it is just a perfect, masterful, flawless action film and sci-fi film? No. It is amazing.
No, it's not flawless.
It's amazing. It is
amazing.
It's short of perfection, which is okay. I mean, that's all you can ask for in a movie. There's no such thing.
Like just a bump below Jaws.
Yes, it is. So, basically, it's the sequel to the movie Terminator from 1984. Which, if you kind of want to refresh your course, you can either watch that movie, or you can listen to our other podcast at the top right corner. You see, yes, right there.
Yeah, somewhere on the screen.
Yes, it's definitely right there.
Or just link down in the description. So you can finish this one, then go down below.
So as it turns out, and I had to pause to find out, about 10 years have actually passed since. 10 years have passed since the events of the movie. We'll get to how that happens. I know that face, Ian. That's your OCD face.
I don't even have OCD, and if it's hitting me that bad, it's really freaking bad, dude.
Okay. Okay. All right. So basically, it's a little like the first movie. Skynet has sent a Terminator back in time to not their target is not Sarah Connor this time. It is actually young John Connor as a child to try to kill him before he can lead the resistance. Of course, the resistance sends a protector as well, and first act is mostly a race against time to get to John, who's gonna get him, the protector or the killer.
And you
Well,
don't really know who is who.
There's
some
kind
hints.
There's some hints, but it's so greatly written. That's why the movie is kind of just just short of perfection, but still masterful. And then it's sort of like another race against time, like to really prevent the future that's going to happen, and of course the final clash between the Terminator. And it sort of feels the same thing, but because it's so much bigger than its low budget predecessor, it still feels refreshing. It feels there's a lot of callbacks that really don't feel forced. And it's just amazing. Norton, and now we kind of get to the part where we see how we came across this. Well, this was actually the movie I saw first. I saw this before the original one, and of course it got to the ending. When it came to the ending, I cried. I am not ashamed, and I am man enough to admit it.
We all cried, John.
Okay. Ian, how did? Of course, Terminator is a big part of pop culture, late 20th pop culture, actually, and well, actually, the first time I heard about Terminator 2 in general was a commercial for the theme park ride at Universal.
I heard of this.
You heard of it?
I've heard of this.
It was I actually got in 2003. Actually, my family and I, we took a vacation. We actually did take a trip to Orlando, Florida, and we went to Universal Studios, and we went on that ride.
You lucky bastard.
It was awesome, and a little funny too. Of course, it's Schwarzenegger. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And all right, so, but yeah, let's see. So I think I was about 11 or 12 when I saw this movie, and it was with my dad. So I wasn't, so that I wouldn't be scarred for life. And then it did get me interested in seeing the first movie. So that's how it kind of got me. It became one of my favorite movies. So Ian, how did you come across this movie?
It was on TV and I watched it.
Okay.
I saw the first one, so then I watched the second one. I don't have a grand story, but yeah, that's it. It was on TV. I enjoyed the first one, so I watched the second one.
All right. Well, what'd you think when you first saw it?
I really enjoyed it. It was so cool. I was like 13 when I watched it, I think. And it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It is quite amazing. It is quite amazing. And pretty much how, and you kind of know that Jurassic Park was pretty much, it kind of changed visual effects by using computer generated imagery. But let's be fair, T2 was the one that kind of laid the foundation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
they even referenced it in the making of special for Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And even though it doesn't look, perfect,
it's not
not bad at all, and it still holds up for what it is.
Absolutely. So does Jurassic Park, and the reason why those CGI hold up is because there was also the practical effects along with it, and that is kind of what helped that's what fools our mind into kind of thinking nowadays there's there's CGI galore, and when we get accustomed to seeing it, then we can actually pick out when it's happening. With T2 and Jurassic Park, it's sort of difficult. And that's why they hold up so well.
And that's part of why they're still classics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kind of like Mad Max Fury Road. The beauty is in the merging of the digital with the practical. And T2, I'm gonna put a video link in the description. I'll actually do it this time. I say I do it, but I don't. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry for being so lazy.
I think you forgot to do it for the Godzilla one, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I remembered. I searched up that other video and I put it down below in my copy.
Yes, you did.
And it wasn't even my video I was looking for.
Well, I think you kind of get more views on your channel for this than I do.
Maybe. I don't look at the views. I just put up videos.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, they threw every practical effect trick in the book. And the only time it was CG was only when the T-1000, the liquid metal Terminator, had to be front and center. And when it was, oh,
Dun, 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 dun.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
All right, so we already covered the story. It is pretty much the same. It's the twist that sort of keeps you it's the twist that doesn't happen at the end, but right like in the half hour or 45 minute mark. You know the one I'm talking about.
End of the first act.
And near the end of the first act, when the Protector and the Killer, they say in the prologue that it was two Terminators. The two Terminators, when they clash, and it's revealed that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Protector and not the Killer. That is is amazing writing, because it makes you kind of think back to what happened before. So Ian, I think I'll put you in charge of explaining the bar fight sequence at the beginning. Like any the little special hints that show that Schwarzenegger was actually a good guy.
Well, for one, he doesn't exactly kill anybody. He just beats the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm. Remember what he said to the punks in the first movie when he wanted clothes?
Dude, you're pushing me back.
Okay. He said, "Okay, well, since the sequel is still fresh in your mind, I'll fill that part in." In the first one, he said, "Your clothes, give them to me now." And in the sequel,
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
So it's still a demand, but it's not as aggressive as it was. That is sort of amazing. And then when also he's the first to arrive. So like how he was the first to arrive in the first movie.
Oh, it's Arnold.
Uh-huh. Well, of course, yes.
By this point, everybody knows who he is.
Mm-hmm. and so we're still kind of thinking that he must be the bad guy, especially given the fact that he beats up bikers. Although in his defense, it was in self-defense when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's little subtle things like that. I love looking back at movies I used to watch as a kid, and now as a filmmaker, it's like I really am seeing them with new eyes. And all right, so then when Robert Patrick's T-1000 comes in, it's a sort of a misdirect. He pretty much he incapacitates a cop that's investigating, but it doesn't look like he kills him. Nor do we see how he got the cop's uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Did he
For all
actually?
we know, he could have just taken it.
He could have taken it. He could have transformed into it,
which we see later, of course.
Which we do see later.
But so, to a first-time viewer, you think that he just took it.
Mm-hmm. This, doing this, it sort of actually brings me back to when we discussed Tremors. Remember, Ian? Like the build up to the graboid.
Yeah.
Still the same basic.
That's taking me back, dude.
Yeah. Still same basic principle with a really good, satisfying payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And their disguises are essentially kind of like signals to what we deem either good or bad. Bikers, they're rough, they're violent, they drink. Arnold must be the bad guy again. Robert Patrick is in a cop car and he's dressed in cop uniform. Must be the good guy. Okay, so far this is all right. For anyone listening, this came out in 1991.
Going with those standard tropes.
Yeah, not. So times were different, and but not for long. I'll get to that later if I remember. that, because I found out something just jaw dropping.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yes, and
because I'm interested.
Mm-hmm. All right, and when we see, but all right, I guess I'm taking over again. Hi, Hiccup, how you doing? You want to join Daddy for this?
Cat.
All right. So anyway, what sells the idea that the Robert Patrick's Terminator, which is later known as the T-1000, may actually be the good guy, is how he interacts with people. It's especially with John Connor's foster parents.
He acts all goody two shoes.
It's so very human, which is different from the Schwarzenegger Terminator. That, keep in mind, this is only the second movie, but everyone just absolutely loved the first one. That they kind of know the stiff and rigid, like speaking and movement of Schwarzenegger's Terminator. So seeing this to be more human, they kind of think it might be, this actually might be another human. Actually, he doesn't. His build is pretty much similar to Kyle Reese.
Mm-hmm.
But as he gets closer to John Connor, and then the two finally meet, the cop and the biker, and we're still thinking that Schwarzenegger is going to kill John, and then we hear "Get down," and then a Boom!
Thus signaling the end of the first act.
No, not really,
No,
actually.
it signals the start of the end of the first act.
Yes. The climax. It signals this climax. It's because this is now the first clash, Terminator versus Terminator. And
Which is something we've never seen before.
As it turns out, Cameron actually had the idea of a liquid metal Terminator as early as the first movie, if I remember reading correctly. But because the first movie, the budget was too high for something like that, they couldn't do it. Oh, but now given the context, I'm like, probably the best move. Probably the best move. The sequels always got to be bigger and better, and quite frankly can't get any bigger and better than say, you know what, we had a metal skeleton Terminator. Let's up the ante. Let's have a liquid metal Terminator.
Uh-huh.
That was so amazing.
Honestly, it's probably the best freaking choice he could have made.
Absolutely, yeah. And all right, so after the chase with with amazing stunts, amazing camera work, amazing music. I mean, I was whistling. I mean, I must have watched this movie so much that that's actually one of my favorite parts of the soundtrack, of not including the main theme, just the chase soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It's haunting. It's so haunting. It's creepy.
John, are you gonna use a style of this music in one of your future projects?
I don't know. Didn't think.
You could.
I probably could. Yeah.
Stay tuned, viewers. I gave him ideas.
Yeah. So after the first chase, it is revealed that so now we kind of get into a little bit of backstory about why the Schwarzenegger Terminator was sent back in time, what his mission is, and now it's also trying to. The whole second act is pretty much just a cat and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
While also trying to prevent a grim future from happening, and it is just amazing. If you haven't, okay, I don't know why I'm actually I'm trying to steer this into explaining Terminator 2, because I'm pretty much just going to repeat what I did in Jurassic Park. If you haven't seen Terminator 2, well, then frankly, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just okay, pause this and go watch it. Come back. We got time.
If you do, we'll be up for a while, so no rush, guys.
Mm-hmm. Although I may have to charge my light.
Did it just die?
Yes, it did.
I blinked and it got darker. I didn't register it first.
All right. So, are you back?
So what was this about taking notes?
Yep. All right. Is everyone back? Good. All right. The acting is just amazing. Ian, what was your okay, we know that just from the first movie alone, we know that Arnold and Linda were great actors. They were just amazing in this movie. How about the kid actor, Eddie Furlong?
He did okay.
I think he was a pretty good child character and a pretty decent child actor. I know he actually did others after T2, but I don't think he's I don't think there was much that was more memorable than this,
I
which
don't.
is
Has he done anything recently?
let me check. Come on. Edward Furlong, known for he was in American History X. Right. That one. Let's see, John Connor reference, Star Trek Renegades. Well, he wasn't. Let's see, he was in that awful superhero movie, The Green Hornet. That's it.
I haven't seen it. I refuse to see it.
Okay. Oh, found something that sounds like The Asylum did it. Let's see.
What?
Do you really want to know?
Probably not. Tell me anyway.
All right. Arachnoquake.
I know this movie.
You do?
It is made by The Asylum.
I knew it. So
and the only reason I know that is because I keep tabs. I keep a short leash on The Asylum.
So
of me ritualistically torturing myself.
Okay, well, he was in that one. He was in
Arachnoquake. Dude. Oh, dude. Why do I feel like that was just for a paycheck?
Because it probably was.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in Terminator 2 and you get to something made by The Asylum called Arachnoquake.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, viewers. We're gonna torture Ian at some point with a bunch of Asylum movies.
Not a bunch at the same time, just so you know.
No, we'll spread them out, but no, John, no series called Torture Ian with Asylum movies, please.
Oh, all right. I'll get the Etch-a-Sketch. And
although the viewers might love you for that, and I would hate you.
All right.
Anyway, back to characters and acting.
Back to the acting. Yeah, okay. Sarah Connor, who went from the diner waitress to badass commando leader, and I'm pretty sure every boy's teenage crush, maybe every girl's teenage crush too.
Not exactly a bad choice.
Oh, no. Yeah, she was also mine.
Didn't you say that in our original Terminator review, John?
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. I can't remember, but if I didn't, I'm not going to lie and say I did and say I wasn't, that I didn't have a crush on her, because I did. I did. I thought she looked badass, wearing that cap, those sunglasses, had a rifle strapped around her shoulder. She was badass. I love badass women.
We need to see more of that style today. Good, strong female characters.
Yes, we need strong female characters, not strong female characters. If I got that right.
You did.
Okay. And I think what's best about Sarah Connor's character in this one is that it is pretty a multi-dimensional character. She's a warrior, but she's also a little bit damaged. She is dealing with sort of a trauma. I mean, knowing that the whole world is going to end, machines are going to pretty much rise up and almost kill the last of the surviving humanity, and it's her son who is going to lead the resistance. that's a that's pretty much that's a lot to put on someone's psyche.
Yeah.
But she's awesome in that. But her determination, her convictions, while is intimidating, is what makes her so endearing. And also, it's her vulnerability that also makes us kind of root for her, as well as you said you were watching the special edition, as well as when she gets beaten up by orderlies. so, yeah, that scene where she's beaten up, the first vision, as well as the dream of Reese coming back, that was not in the original theatrical edition. But honestly, I prefer the special edition, just with the original theatrical ending, which the ending shot with the camera just looking at the highway, saying that the future is rapidly approaching, and it's always changing, but for the first time I have hope. That's a good ending.
Okay, series over. No more. No more.
Or no.
Oh, no, shit. Yeah. We live in this timeline.
Yes. So, all right. So, yeah, she was amazing. I especially love the scene when she is actually just about to shoot the man who would actually be responsible for Judgment Day to happen. And she stops, pretty much tries to calm them and herself down, and actually just breaks down at like, what the hell was I about to do? I mean, that's the type of character writing that I love, and something that I would like to see more of in today's films. And we sort of did kind of get that with Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman. Haven't seen 84, but I've heard things.
I haven't seen either.
Oh. Okay, first one, it's pretty good.
Put it on the list, or ambiguous list.
You can watch it. You can decide, and you can also decide whether it's worth reviewing or not.
We'll see, dude. I'm busy.
Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger still plays the same plays the role the same, but not.
There's more heart to it. There's and a little more comedy.
Yes.
Chill out.
Okay, yeah. Most of the movie is pretty timeless. There's several spots where, yes, you can definitely see this movie's age, like a Pepsi logo, the computers at Cyberdyne.
Well, what are you gonna do? It was very early 90s.
It was very early 90s. Yep. Oh. But for the most of the movie, it can pretty much fit anywhere. I mean, kids and teenagers, they still hang out at arcades. There are still malls, thank God.
Although you don't really see kids running around doing their own thing anymore.
No.
Let's see, riding a dirt bike through town with no adult supervision. You don't see that.
And honestly, when you do go into the mall, most people have this.
And what was with that guy with his random point and shoot camera?
I think I missed that.
At least in the special edition I was watching, this guy had a point and shoot like camera I think it was still digital. No, it wasn't digital. That didn't exist at the time. But in like basically like a Nikon, and he was shooting pictures of Arnold as he was getting up from being thrown through the glass.
That explains the that explains the photos in the of course that explains the photos later on at the sanitarium.
Watch the special edition, people.
Mhm.
It
I'm
clears
sure
up
that
some things.
I'm sure it was also in the theatrical edition. Because why would you take out Arnold getting thrown through glass?
Well, it could just be like that one section of film with the guy with the camera that was cut.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
May see that see for how many times I have seen this movie, there are still some things that don't that I miss, and when I do see them for the first time, it's like, oh wow, I love that feeling. I love that. Like they're oh no wait, sorry, I had another thought. I had another thought, and then I forgot it. Anyway. Anyway, and also, so what do you think, Ian? What did you think of pretty much the Terminator pretty much taking up like a father figure, a father role for John?
Oh, I enjoyed that because he never had a father
Or
figure.
a positive father, positive role model.
Foster parent does not count.
And every guy that she shacked up, trying to teach him stuff. Apparently, what's apparently according to Sarah's inner monologue. Let's see, John has been yelled at and hit and screamed at by a number of the guys that Sarah dated.
Oh,
after Kyle Reese, and it was just also that she could teach John. John actually does say this, but in the scene where he finds out that the Terminator follows his orders.
cool! My own Terminator.
Yeah. And of course, yes. There's the little bit of comedy with the whole why.
Why?
You can't you can't just you can't go around killing people, okay?
Why?
You just can't.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. And so as a loophole to not killing anyone, he shoots people in the knees.
Still gets them out of your way.
What?
Still gets them out of your way.
It's true, but well, I'm pretty sure that since Terminator has knowledge of human anatomy, he can aim the gun so precisely that it doesn't hit a major artery, so that it doesn't bleed out.
Yeah.
So as they're kind of trying to run away to avoid the Terminator and also the other authorities, since Sarah was actually held up in a mental institution and they broke her out. Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
Awesome.
It was awesome. That is the kind of thing that they do put you in that they send you to jail for, though. Yeah, they find out about Miles Dyson's character, who I know I haven't seen him in many other in many other movies or television, but I know he was. But again, he played a pretty decent. Joe Morton did a fantastic job at playing someone who's very ambitious and kind of looking towards the future, even though he finds out later that the future he's going towards is pretty much a nuclear holocaust.
He took it pretty well.
Better than I think what most people in movies do. I think they would just immediately run to the bathroom and empty their stomachs. Dyson, he just says, "I think I'm gonna throw up," and that sounds very natural. That sounds like a natural response.
Yeah. Not every day you're told you're responsible for the death of 3 billion people.
It is kind of sad that he had to be killed off.
He could have returned in the sequel.
He didn't have to have been killed. He didn't have to have been killed off. I mean, he could have. I mean, could have at least found. I don't know why he had to. I don't know the reason why he had to be killed off. I'm not going down that route. I'm just saying that it was just a shame because he was a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
And would have kind of been like, and then kind of would have been John Connor's confidant in like the third movie. Like his little his connection back to the real world when he goes off the grid.
Yeah. But we'll get to the third movie later.
Eventually.
We're probably going to need to bring Tyler in for that one.
So most of the middle is just about trying to
running.
Well, not really running. It is at least trying to. It's planning or preventing Judgment Day from happening. And what's the best way to prevent Judgment Day from happening, Ian?
Blowing shit up.
Yes, specifically blowing up the building. Well, okay, to be fair, I mean, just stealing the arm and the processing chip from the first Terminator was not enough. They had to destroy the files on the computers. And since this was the 90s, that would have been too slow.
So they just blow up shit.
They blow it up. They take axes to computers, which is funny though.
Except nowadays that wouldn't work because everything's backed up to the cloud.
That is true. Yeah, wasn't that the plot of Genesis?
I haven't seen it. It's still in the packaging over there.
Good. Keep it in there.
Although today was the first day I unwrapped and opened up T2 from the packaging. So
ooh, nice.
I could have kept that in the packaging, but meh. What are you gonna do?
And of course, all right. So when that's all done, then it's actually kind of weird. It's kind of weird that when the T-1000 returns, he actually is kind of put on the back burner for a bit. But then when you kind of see him, it's like, oh yeah, there's also him. It's like the T-1000 is kind of like that. Is that character that's in the back of your mind, so that you don't full on forget him when he's put in the background. And that's actually the sign of an amazing written character. It's just that presence. That's that. that blank look. That's like staring daggers into your soul.
Oh, so the look I give a lot of idiots at work. Sounds good.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure almost anybody in retail will have that look.
Mm-hmm.
Retail, zoos, everybody work with large groups of public.
Uh-huh. Who for some reason when they enter into the region, their IQs drop 20 points.
Only 20?
Minimum.
I was about to say, my line of work, dude, it goes straight through the floor.
Well, you know, if they have an IQ of 20.
Hey, that rock's smarter. It doesn't get into trouble. Anyway.
So all right, so now the climax, which is in another, I guess, industrial plant. Instead of a machine building, it's more like a like a steel mill, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and this is kind of where a majority of the tension, it really builds up to a really great payoff.
Oh, and yeah.
So was that
and I think it's better in the special edition.
Me too. I agree. Because I agree, Ian. Since I have a bad habit of hijacking this review, why don't you give your opinion of why you think the steel mill climax is better in the special edition?
Because it gives more details. For example, what happens if you freeze a liquid metal Terminator and then shoot it?
It shatters.
And you're in a steel mill.
Oh, yeah. So all the heat would cause the frozen metal to melt,
allowing it to reform.
Oh, Okay, well, I guess that's okay. One liquid metal Terminator is not as bad as, say, thousands of little liquid metal Terminators. Little Terminator rats. Still deadly. It's still deadly. There's still the one.
However, according to the details in the special edition, the T-1000 starts to malfunction.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like that. I like that little detail. Like, how? So, what signs of it malfunctioning are there?
Well, when it touches something, now its camouflage ability starts to get all wonky.
You use the term wonky too.
Yeah. And whenever it steps in some shots, its feet melt and just blurp out a little bit, I guess is the correct.
Yeah, it even took on the detail of the metal floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also that little wave of chrome that starts from the feet and goes all the way to the head.
I love that effect.
Oh yes.
Maybe you could do that for your effects series.
Oh yes, I think
just
so
do like
too.
T-1000 abilities.
That would be a nice challenge. It would be. Yeah.
Do like a little mini series of effects, have shape shifting. That could be a fairly easy one.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And so yeah, that little detail I really do like. It's sort of slowly malfunctioning, or I guess it wasn't perfectly reformed after being frozen, then shattered, then melted, and then reformed again. So well, it is an advanced prototype, so it's not the real thing yet. If that's how prototypes work.
Yeah, if that's the prototype.
You still got some bugs in the system, Skynet.
but it's a pretty good prototype for what it is.
Oh, no kidding. Jeez.
Just don't let it freeze.
But it was still also it doesn't seem to be just the freezing. It may also have something to do with the heat. Like because it was that little small flaw that we got where we got the twin Sarahs. That twin Sarahs. That little part was that little part where John looks down and actually sees the shoes melting into the grate. That was not in the theatrical version. That was cut. I don't know why that should have been cut. I mean, normally cutting is usually meant for pacing or time constraints. In the original one, like right after the real Sarah, even though we don't really know that's the real Sarah, even John doesn't know. I mean, it just cuts straight to John jumping out of the way, yelling, "Shoot!" And then we get, the awesome scene of Linda Hamilton, pumping the shotgun. So the special edition that adds that little bit of detail, I think was a good addition.
And just so you know, John, and the viewers, that copy of the T-1000 being Sarah is Linda Hamilton's twin sister.
Yes, twin sister. That's the other thing, the good thing about this movie. Like I said, this pulled out every trick in the book for practical effects, from models to animatronics to puppets to even twins, actual twins. Linda Hamilton's twin showed up for 2 scenes, and remember that little security guard at the mental asylum? That was also a twin.
Yeah. John, you don't have a twin, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, there goes that idea.
No, I don't. I probably would have been annoyed by him as well.
And he probably would have been annoyed by you.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, so the twin thing, that's also amazing. And when Sarah is pretty much shooting the T-1000 and is like slowly, bit by bit, knocking him back so that it falls into the molten steel, you almost think, yes, they're gonna win, and then click.
God damn it.
Oh shit.
Out of ammo.
No more bullets.
Throw something at it.
Yep.
Which Arnold technically does.
Yes, it was the.
That was an amazing shot, though.
It was the last bullet. I love the sound that particular rifle made. It's like when you just like palm the end of a tube. It's boom. It was amazing. And the T-1000's reaction to when it's like in his stomach, it's like, oh no. Yeah. Its face literally went, oh crap.
Grenade.
Was that a grenade?
No, that was one of the like gas canisters, I think.
The gas canister. That was amazing. And a lot of the destruction that the T-1000 took was 100% in camera. So those little bullet holes, those were specially wired squibs that would just pop open on Robert Patrick. The split head was an actual puppet. The freaking deformed basket case thing, modern art sculpture like thing from the Climax. That was a real puppet.
Damn.
And it was amazing. You see why this movie, you see why I keep saying this movie is amazing, Ian?
I thought it was amazing the first time I watched it. You don't need to tell me.
Yes, like I said, about 98% of the movie's visual effects are in-camera practical effects. The only time when it was a digital effect, when the T-1000 was involved, was when it was reforming, when it was in that liquid, when it was in that chrome metal form, or when it was walking through that jail grate.
Which is awesome.
Yes. It's so amazing. 30 years later, those effects still hold up. Most of them.
That's right. This is coming out hopefully on the anniversary.
It is coming out.
Yes.
It is coming out on July 3rd.
In which case, happy 30th anniversary, T2.
Yes, happy 30th anniversary to one of the greatest sequels to one of the
greatest originals.
The first two great, of the one of the great franchises, but then got ruined by corporate meddling. And it's because of the fact that James Cameron not only made this sequel, but also made the sequel to Alien, Aliens, that the movies after those sequels were just not up to par. It was something several years ago at work, when we were talking about the franchise, about Aliens and Terminators with some coworkers at Lowe's. Remember, I've only been in the news for about a year. I pretty much said, let's make it Hollywood. Here's a rule: when James Cameron makes a sequel, just stop, because you're never gonna live up to it.
Yeah. Put that down in Hollywood rule book that no one will ever follow ever.
Then, if it's in the rule books, then if it's a rule book that no one in Hollywood's gonna follow, why put it in the rule book anyway? Why have a rule book?
So we can say it's in the rule book, and they'll still ignore us, John.
Okay.
We're two jackweasels on the internet.
Mm-hmm. I guess you're right. All right, so yeah, we pretty much gone the whole review without really mentioning James Cameron.
He directed the original. He directed Aliens.
And he
did this one.
He did this one, and he was pretty much the reason why most of the stunt work and the camera angles are at their greatest. It turns out the scene where the tow truck, the T-1000, during the first chase sequence crashes through the wall on that bridge. Apparently, no one on the stunt crew wanted to do that. Wanted to shoot that because they were afraid that they would get killed. Understandably so. So Cameron pretty much took the camera and shot that himself. That low angle camera, that low angle from the bridge where that truck just crashes through that barricade. Cameron shot that.
Did you know there is a goof in that scene?
Really? Oh,
there is a goof.
Oh, wait, are you talking about I think I might know what you're talking about. What is it?
The windshield.
Windshield?
The windshield in the truck, when it falls down and hits, the windshields pop out. And a few minutes later, the T-1000 punches out cracked windshield.
Oh.
There is a goof.
It's I didn't notice that. I did not notice that because I guess it's that little small it's that very small detail that, and it's probably, is it like front and center, or is it like you see them pop out and then it cuts quickly to a different angle?
It cuts to a different angle, but I did notice it.
So it's a blink and you'll miss it.
It is. Now you're gonna
Ah,
freaking watch for it next time
yes,
you watch it.
yes, I am. You're you're damn right, I am.
But it's such a small goof, and it's the one I saw, so it's not a
Sure.
big deal, and it didn't impact the plot at all. So
Not, no, it wasn't. It wasn't good. This is kind of what, but that's why I like about it. I mean, no, there's no movie that is perfect. There's nothing without goofs. There's nothing without continuity issues. What?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay. I don't, maybe. Maybe.
No, there is a goof in it. Crap, I remember.
Oh, what was it?
The basket of fish that disappeared after Hiccup fed Toothless.
Oh.
It disappeared. Crap, I just defeated myself.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
But
did.
I'm nothing if not gracious in defeat, my good sir.
Okay.
Even if by my own hand.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Hoisted by your own petard.
All right, Captain Barbosa. Back to Terminator.
All right. So what's amazing? All right. So yeah, there was a lot of accolades for Terminator. I mean,
All.
not all. Not all.
Basically all.
I'm not going to list all of them, but I will mention. I will mention this one. It's that. It's the only Terminator film in the franchise to actually be nominated and win several Oscars. It actually won 4 out of 6 Oscars that it was nominated for. A sci-fi action movie. What? Okay, so that normally doesn't happen, and wouldn't actually happen again until 2007 with The Bourne Ultimatum and 2015 with Mad Max Fury Road, both of which involve action and also some pretty good stunts as well as camera work, and in Fury Road's case, practical effects.
Which, as we've said time and time again in this review and others, you don't see as much anymore.
Oh, not as much. Even the downside is that digital effects are pretty much also kind of covering up most of the practical effects. Jurassic World is a good example.
You can't use Jurassic World because there's one shot of there's one scene with a practical effect in Jurassic World. One.
I'm still gonna use it. Why did they have to cover up the Brachiosaurus?
That was an Apatosaurus.
I'm sorry, the Apatosaurus.
Because it was only a partial animatronic.
I know it was partially an animatronic, but the head was mostly I know the head was mostly practical, but that was digitally covered up.
Was it?
It kind of looked digital. It had that digital look to it.
They might have touched it up. kind of what they did with Big Rock, but I'm okay with Big Rock. I'll have to watch Jurassic World again to see what you're talking about.
Okay.
It's been over a year.
Mm-hmm. I felt like I had a train of thought, and then I got derailed a bit.
We were talking about practical effects and Oscars.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So this movie definitely gained the attention of the Academy, and let's see the six Oscars. Let's see what did it win? What was it nominated for? Come on. Awards. Here we go. Let's see. Winner for Best Sound. We're going to talk about that. Definitely going to talk about that. Sound
boy.
effects. Best effects and visual effects. Oh yes, that's right. And a familiar face in the visual effects world, Ian. Stan Winston.
Ah, the master himself.
Yep. Of course, was the one who made the
Predator.
the Predator, and the original Terminator animatronic, even which, and of course he came back for this one, which just the animatronics from the war scene, it's just amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Did you know about that? Here's some trivia about that war scene. That entire like broken down twisted metal area with the cars and the skeletons, that was the primary set for that was a burned parking lot and set area at Universal Studios that caught fire.
Whoa! That might have been in the special edition. If you get the right DVD, you can get a special interactive mode where it'll actually point out something, which will actually point out some of the ways that that the movie was shot. Actually, not most, all of them.
Let me find that.
All right.
So I can be sure I'm not talking out of my butt.
All right. So it won Best Sound, Best Effects, and Sound Editing. Of course, that was amazing. Let's see, Best Makeup. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nominees for Best Cinematography and Best Film Editing. I want to know who it lost to. To Wikipedia. 1992 Academy Awards. Let's see. Best Cinematography. A River Runs Through It.
Never freaking heard of it.
Never seen it. Best cinematography. Wait, is this the right? Batman Wait, why is it not even this? Don't. Son of a. This was the awards for 1993, not 1992. Damn it, Google! You had one job. I said 1992 Academy Awards. Here we go. JFK. Was that Oliver Stone movie? And that also won Best Film Editing. Huh.
I don't know. I can't find where I heard that tidbit I said about the broken down lot. So take what I said with a grain of salt.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about interesting locations. I guess this now kind of brings up the one that I saved earlier. It's kind of strange, but T2 kind of feels a little bit more relevant today. As in, when it especially than it did back then, back in 1991. Because and that's and that is kind of as far as I'm kind of bringing any real world things into it. But the bar that they shot the opening scene at, which is a real bar, by the way, was actually across the street from the location of where the infamous Rodney King beatings would happen.
Oh.
Yes. In fact, actually, it was after the trial a year later that James Cameron got the idea for another movie. Let's see, I remembered seeing that here on the trivia. Let me see. Terminator. Oh, the thing with a movie that this great, and also Godzilla back then, that since that was that was infamously great, there's always a lot of trivia.
Well, of course.
Alternate ending. Let's see, shot in 8 months. I thought it was either on this trip. It was either on this trivia page or on the special edition interactive feature of the DVD. Can't remember. All right, I'll just have to look up. I'll just have to go to James Cameron. What movie did he What was that movie that he directed before It was before Titanic. Writer, director, here we go.
I've never actually
Terminator
seen
2.
Titanic.
You haven't?
I have not.
I'm
a little bent out of shape about it because it took away the record from Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's so petty. I respect that, though.
Let's see. A movie about a boat versus dinosaurs.
Strangeness was this former. Oh, okay. It wasn't a movie he directed, but it is one he wrote. And let's see, was this the one? Oh, yes, it is. Okay. It's something he wrote. Who directed it was actually his ex-wife, who was probably back then his married wife, Catherine Bigelow, who directed it, called Strange Days. Yes. Excellent. Yes, his ex-wife, who also beat him in the Oscars in 2010 with Hurt Locker over Avatar. Yes, I am not kidding.
Now, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of Avatar, but come on.
That's just amazing. Wow. That's amazing. When I first heard that, it's like, oh wow. That's gotta hurt.
Come on, James. You can do better than that.
I should probably actually start seeing some of Catherine Bigelow's work. I wonder if I actually have and didn't know it was her. She did Detroit. That's nice. Let's see, Zero Dark 30. Point Break? She directed Point Break.
Uh-oh, John's getting ideas.
That was one of Keanu Reeves' earlier movies before The Matrix. I can't believe it.
Can we get back to Terminator?
Sure. Okay. All right.
Before this turns into a different video.
All right. Okay. So normally we do pick. We do pick out our favorite scenes, but with a movie like this, it's really hard. So why don't
Oh,
we actually make it harder? Why don't we make it
John,
harder? Best scene, in your opinion, best scene.
I'm gonna do the special edition because it has more scenes.
Oh,
Mm,
I'm not saying best version. I'm not saying best version, but best
no,
scene.
I'm using the special edition for my choice
Okay.
because it has more scenes.
Okay.
Because we all know the special edition has more is better.
Mm-hmm.
But see, best scene. I don't know. I gotta think on this because
Okay. Me, in my personal opinion, best scene is the first clash of the Terminators. Mostly the build up towards it. I'm definitely that kind of person that really loves build up and a payoff. And so I especially loved how it built up to thinking that Schwarzenegger is the bad guy. Uh, Patrick is the good guy, and then all of a sudden you hear "Get Down," and then that loud, echoey boom of the shotgun. I mean, that's not only is that just great writing, that's a good example of using sound to tell your story. And in my opinion, that's not only my favorite scene, that is the best scene. Of course, that's just my opinion. If any of you, if you, Ian, or anyone else still listening to this, want to comment your idea for best scene down below.
my favorite scene. I do like the scene where they're trying to, you know what, screw it, blowing up the lab and the resulting helicopter chase.
That was actually all practical too.
It works. It's my favorite.
That was a real helicopter that went under the bridge and over another bridge. So,
Well, shit.
I know. Seriously, Michael Bay's got nothing on James Cameron when it comes to action.
I want to see a head-to-head. They each have to make the exact same plot for a scene. Who would do it better?
I'd be a little biased.
I know you would be, but still.
Although I'm not opposed to that idea though. A nice little head-to-head short film challenge.
Yes, John. Yes.
Of course, I don't. Although to be fair, I think Cameron would probably lean more towards the computer generated, and he's all about trying to break new grounds, pushing the envelope. If it was them both in their prime, like 1991 James Cameron and 2007 Michael Bay, that was clashing head to head, then that'd be an interesting sight to see.
Oh yeah. Maybe we could turn this into an actual TV show.
or just a simple, or maybe a flash in the pan idea, like directors versus directors. Who would you pit against in a challenge?
Dean DeBlaw versus Steven Spielberg.
Ooh, good one. That's great. Write that down. Write that down.
Don't break your keyboard.
I got others. All right. So So yeah, the reason why I love the reason why I love the Clash of the Terminators scene is, again, as a filmmaker, is that filmmaker, there's more than one way to tell your story, and sound is one of them. In fact, actually, the guy behind most of the sound mixing is once again Gary Rydstrom from Jurassic Park, who made all the dinosaur noises, all the dinosaur roars.
I
Yes,
can't.
from Velociraptors to T-Rex. This guy was essentially the mastermind behind the sound of our childhoods.
Yeah.
And so this, all right. So how they achieved that that booming shotgun sound was actually four different sounds. Two of them were actually sounds from a cannon, where the second one was actually sped up. Another was a rifle shot shot into a canyon, so you get that echo. And another was pretty much a 38 pistol that was kind of phased, so you didn't get the whole sound. You pretty much just got the middle of it. And if you kind of remember from Jurassic Park, the best sound that I mentioned in Jurassic Park, the best sounds are when you kind of cover the low, mid, and high frequencies. The mid frequency is definitely the 38 pistol, as well as the sped up cannon. The high frequency would definitely be the rifle of the Echo, and that gives it that nice little echoing boom. And of course, and your low frequency would be the cannon. And when you put them all together, you get that amazing sound that is really it's not only the sound of the resulting clash of Terminators, it's also the sound of every audience's mind being blown by this revelation. Schwarzenegger's the good guy?
Talk about a twist from the first movie.
Uh-huh. That's why I love it. And also sound design is actually becoming my current obsession when it comes to editing.
Mm-hmm. I get that I've been working around a lot of exotic animals. There's a lot of different sounds I'm exposed to on a daily basis, and it gives me a lot of different ideas. I'm currently really obsessed with like really weird exotic sounds.
Yeah. I tried to recreate, like, for the trailer of Jurassic Park that we worked on, Ian. I actually wanted to recreate the T-Rex sound from scratch, and I know how they did it.
So do I.
I know, and I wanted to do that from scratch, but you know how they got the high frequency one, the elephant sound.
The
Apparently
baby elephant.
Yeah, well, apparently that was a rare thing to happen. That was a once in a blue moon during a solar eclipse. That happened. Even the handlers were surprised by that sound. They said, "We have never heard her make that sound before."
Come on out to the park, John. We can get you some weird sounds out here. You can make your own.
Yeah, well,
like a saurus crane screaming into the sky.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
I'll send you a clip of one of those. Oh my god, it's the weirdest freaking sound ever. And yes, I can get you tortoises mating. Oh look, I broke John.
Are you talking about the sounds of tortoises banging the gong slowly?
No, the actual noises that the tortoises make.
That's what I meant.
Yes. All right, I broke John review over. What are we rating
What are we
T2
what are we rating?
before we
Oh,
drag this review on any longer? Because it's
okay.
almost 11 o'clock here.
All right, yeah. Fair enough. Let's see. Well, I definitely consider Terminator 2 Judgment Day a classic. A a modern classic. Um let's let's see. In terms of writing, in terms of story, in terms of acting, it is, like I said, near perfection. So I will give it a near perfect score of 9.5 solid chrome bullet hits out of 10.
I gotta say the same. It's a great movie. Like I said, one of those movies. Actually, like I said for the original Terminator review, one of those movies that you need to see before you die.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And
And
so,
if you want to see the template for Terminator for the third Terminator movie, just watch this one
mm-hmm. Yep. So,
and then skip the third one. But
oh
we'll
yeah,
get to that one.
yeah. I'll have to save that timeline thing I had in my head that I wanted to speak for this movie for the third one. I'll just have to remember that timeline thing. Any, anyway, yeah.
John, we all know you're not going to remember it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not gonna look back on this one.
We got too many projects as is, dude.
Yes. All right. So with that, everyone, this concludes Nerdvana. Again, have a happy Independence Day or a happy Trader Day for all of our UK friends out there. and stay safe, even though we're not out of the woods quite yet, but still stay safe.
Get
And
vaccinated.
mm-hmm. and and do call your parents, do call your friends, get connected through more than just social media.
As far as what we're doing next for
For
August,
August, again, we did this one. What? Uh, uh, you're probably going to be surprised by this one, everyone. But we actually planned for this movie in July, like back in January. So we
mm-hmm.
really didn't. So we really didn't have anything planned for August.
Yeah, this is a result of a lot of ideas. Not as much as Jurassic Park, mind you, because
Oh,
fucking cinematic.
oh
But
God, oh my God, that. As I said, that was a movie that defined a generation.
we
Oh
had to
yeah.
make that one special.
Oh
But
yeah. So actually, I guess instead of just spending about 10 minutes thinking about what movie we're gonna plan,
stay
let's
tuned.
just stay tuned for August. You may be surprised. We'll definitely be surprised.
Yeah.
All right. Until then, this is John Murphy
Andy and Benoit.
signing off. We'll be back.